Hello, everyone. My name is Shalom. Wednesdays, I have typically tried to keep a pattern of giving information and sharing some information about the African continent or about the African culture, history, something to add value or give more information that a lot of people may not know about the African continent and how much we contribute to different cultures, society, and especially agriculture. And I've done this in several ways. I've done it in the US, in the States, with different events where I would bring traditional, authentic African foods for people to try. Our cultural attire. And I coined it and named it Wakanda Wednesday. And I did that intentionally. What I want to do this month leading into 2021 is I'm challenging myself to try to do this daily. A lot of people have been contacting me and giving me great feedback about some of the videos I've been doing with the work that I do here in West Africa, and just sharing and giving people insights with on-ground information, or them just seeing how I move around and seeing what I actually do, or maybe how I do it. When I posted about the cola nuts, and I think a lot of people weren't aware of where terms like, cola in some of the drinks comes from, and, understanding like the cola nut actually carries the caffeine and is used as an ingredient in most of those cola drinks. There's several things just like that, and that's why I share what I do, because people don't understand some of where their foods come from, both in the diaspora and on the continent. My goal in sharing what I do and sharing some of these things is to really make people more aware, give out more information, and help you understand the potential of the African continent, where the future is going. We have every other, world power on the continent sourcing something, and yet we on the continent don't get to take advantage of it or the benefits of our own resources. They often get taken to other countries, get put into production, into manufacturing, get produced into products, and still get sold back to us at higher prices. My goal is to give you as much information as I know, and I'm also learning as I go along. I learn so many things every week that help me enhance my knowledge and help me go about what I'm trying to do much better. As I share some of these things, hopefully it opens up your mind. If you're into business, if you're not, it helps you understand and look at your products differently, to understand, oh, these things are sourced from here. They may be sold through other countries, but at the end of the day, a lot of things get sourced from the African continent and get used for so many things around the world. We get no credit, and we end up being the consumers. I'm going to start off by, talking a bit about myself, who I am, where I'm from, a bit of what I do, where I'm going with this, and ultimately why I started this. I am Shalom Bako. I was born and bred on the African continent in West Africa, in northern Nigeria. I was born and raised, went to school out here, and then migrated to the US, to the United States in my teens. Through those years, I just started observing, noticing, in conjunction with the things I already knew about the continent versus what was being said about what the continent's like, the African continent. I just knew that there was a huge disconnect and a huge gap. And that's when I started my brand, Dreams and Ambition, which for me was a vision to kind of connect these two worlds and connect, see where the disconnect was and try to bridge that. And so that's all I've been trying to do, but in a practical sense, by showing you practically through the work I do to show you what's possible. So a lot of you have seen that, I export agricultural commodities from the continent to other places. And it's not just exports. I also do this locally. It might be gotten from one state and then transport it to another. I often show the international aspect. And like I said, the reason for that is also to connect the diaspora, to kind of help people in the diaspora understand what they can do as well, and understand the sources and the resources available that you can tap into. I show a lot of the agricultural commodities because that's what I'm into, and I really believe in the long-term impact that agriculture can have for my local community in terms of how much it could develop jobs. I know that, for several hundred years, all across West Africa and all across the continent, agriculture has always been a staple and was what gave us the most stability, the most financial gain worldwide. Once Nigeria in specific got independent and found oil, we sort of moved away from that. The reason I'm choosing agriculture, and I chose agriculture, is because of the long-term impact and the wider impact it could have in my communities. With agriculture, I show you different commodities in their raw form. I often try to show you how they're farmed and then cleaned or processed and packaged and then sold off, whether in its raw form, or I also show you how it is, repackaged or used in production to make other things. So for example, hibiscus flowers are, often when you talk about hibiscus flowers, some people may not know immediately, or they might think about just a beautiful plant, different colors that may be used, decoratively. However, for others, they might think about sorrel, they might think about zobo, zobolo, karkade. Like, it goes by different names. Flor de Jamaica. This is the same flower that's used as a drink. A Caribbean community, they may know it as sorrel, right? If you go to a Hispanic community, they may know it as Flor de Jamaica, right? If you come to a Nigerian community, they may know it as zobo. And these are all the same thing. It's the same plant, the same flower, and it's used to make the same drink. We just call it different names. Tastes the same, made the same. The flower's just put in water, hot water. It's boiled, it's left to settle. Some cultures mix it with ginger, some with pineapple. But at the end of the day, it's just a flower. It's boiled, left to settle, and you drink it. It has several health benefits, and several cultures use it. With hibiscus flowers, I show you that we farm it in large quantity. I show you how we clean it, how we package it, and we export it to these different markets around the world that also use it the same way we do. It might be farmed here in Nigeria, or in Burkina Faso, or in Mali, or in Egypt, or in Sudan, and then it gets taken to Jamaica, for example, where it was exported to Jamaica, and Mexicans and Mexico started buying it from Jamaica. So the source they thought was Jamaica, and therefore you have the name Flor de Jamaica. These are the sort of things I want to show you. There are several commodities that we have in abundance on the African continent, and they are being tapped. Often you hear about the debate about China and Africa. Well, there's a reason they're here, and they're tapping into minerals, they're tapping into agriculture, they're bringing their infrastructural capabilities and using that as a point of trade. I want more of the Black community in the diaspora. I want the community here on the African continent, the native community on the African continent, to wake up and realize that these resources don't need to leave the continent in order to be made into these products and sold back to us. You can do the same thing. By me practically showing you and going out to farm and showing you these products in these communities, I'm showing that you can do it too, right? You don't have to look for an international export market. We drink hibiscus tea here in Nigeria in abundance. It's just your hibiscus tea. So for the English person, or whoever else, they might not call it Flor de Jamaica, they might not call it Zobo, but they call it hibiscus tea. It's still the same thing. It's still the same flower that's crushed and put in the tea bag that you dip and drink as tea. Flor de Jamaica is nothing but tea. You can have it hot, you can have it cold. It's still the same drink, still the same flower, and that's what it is. We have an abundance of resources, not just in agriculture, in minerals. I've learned so much about other minerals that the Chinese are buying in large quantities, and they're here tapping into it. They're mining, they're going to local villages and sourcing these things and finding commodities that we didn't even know about or how to use them. And that's part of the problem. In Nigeria alone, you have well over 100 natural resources that can be tapped into, that can be used to produce different things, and are being used to produce different things. We need to be able to tap into those resources. So I want to show you how to research some of these things. There's several industries. You might be in the tech industry. You know, there's opportunities. You might be in the financial industry. You might be in the agricultural industry. You might be in the mineral industry. You might be in real estate. There's several industries you can tap into and find resources that you can research, you can source, you can buy. If you are in another diaspora, you can source things from the African continent. Even if you're sourcing them for raw materials and to use in your production somewhere else, that's fine. But we need to start tapping into doing business with each other on the continent and making sure that we're developing the mothership, the continent, just as much, and the diaspora can also take advantage of these resources and do business with the mothership and produce things that we still use in our communities. I'll give you another example. Shea butter. I've shown you guys how I export shea butter. I source it here on the continent in West Africa, export it, make them into shea butter products, 4-ounce jars, 8-ounce jars, and then retail them through an online store, through the Jollof Market. So you can visit jollofmarket.com and see some of these products. Now, none of that was rocket science. The Black community, we're the users of shea butter. Here on in West Africa, shea trees and shea nuts are available, right? And that is what is squeezed and you get the butter out of it. So if we use these things, we have access to them. Maybe it's just about understanding how to turn it into a product, which is often not too hard, and then sold. My goal is to show you some of these things and give you some insight to really understand how you can research something, maybe process it, maybe package it, and sell it. Maybe you can sell it at wholesale. Maybe you can use it in one of your products. We have several things: coconut oil, shea butter, tiger nuts, different flours, grains, solid minerals. If you're into jewelry, there's just so much. I want to share more of that with you guys. I've gotten a ton of feedback from showing my process here in Nigeria and Ghana, and I'll be going to other countries as well, showing you, there's things we source from South Africa. There's things to be sourced from Senegal, from Ghana, from Gambia, from Sudan. This is the goal for me as I continue to share my process of building not only my business, but hopefully building a richer and more solid Pan-African community and building the Black community both on the continent and in the diaspora. As we do this, I am prayerful and hopeful that this will be a longer lasting solution for the future of Black people and everything we suffer and go through everywhere on this planet, whether you go to Europe or North America or Latin America or even here on the continent. Our lives are not valued. That is why we're getting killed the way we do, whether it's from our own people or it's other people. We're not respected, and we need to understand our value and what we contribute. And we need to understand how to now sell that back, both to our communities and to other communities. We use shea butter, so I'm showing you how to source it. And we use raw unscented shea butter. Lots of women do. Lots of men should as well, because the benefits are tremendous. And that's the other thing. We have, in agriculture, we have the best in the world. And even in countries that do have some of the best in the world, best believe me, they come here to study how we farm it. Or they come here to source some of our seeds. In agriculture, we've been farming for hundreds of years. People may not be as intellectual or educated by Western standards, but we have some of the best farmers on this planet. People who have been doing this for generations and generations and generations, who can produce for you the best ginger, who can produce the best shea nuts, who can produce the best sesame seeds. Maybe we need to start recognizing where our strengths are and using that. We can't keep sitting back to watch other people come here and understand the potential of what we have and understand the resources we have and also tap into the resources while we sit back and take peanuts compared to the share of the pie we should have. As I show you this, I'm showing you both the raw materials and raw goods. I'm showing you possibilities of how it could be processed into a product. And I'll also be giving tips and lessons on marketing and distribution. Make the product, market it. You can create an online store showing you, different things from search engine optimization to building a website. There's other channels that you can sell them on. In the States or Europe, you can sell them on Amazon. In Nigeria, you can sell it on Konga or Jumia. But first, you have to understand what's available to you. And some of these things are so local and available to us, we have just ignored them for so long. And now we're watching other people come in, recognize those things, take them in volume, and make them into the products that we should have been making them into, and still selling them back to us. And the sad part is we value those products more when they leave and come back to us because they're foreign. When in reality, these people are still trying to emulate some of our local traditions and local practices. So our own culture, our own resources is just being resold to us when we are the originators. And so I hope that this all makes sense. I hope that you understand my vision as I share more with you. I hope that, you want to learn. If this is something you want to learn, I've been giving out a lot of free information on it. You can go to dreamsandambition.com. I share a lot of this stuff through articles, through videos like this. If you want to get information, all you have to do is reach out. We're in an era where it doesn't take much. You can slide in people's DMs. You can send a simple message to say, hey, how do I do this? And several people have. I've made some great connections. I've gotten new clients just through sharing some of this stuff. And people say, hey, I've been looking for this. Can you help source this for me? These things are possible. I want us to start looking at what we can source. A lot of these resources, especially agriculturally, have so many health benefits. And as I look at our communities, we have a lot of health issues. A lot of these things have great health benefits, which is also why other communities tap into them and make them into products that are used in the health industry, in the pharmaceutical industry. But if you want organic stuff, this is, you know, if you want organic stuff, you probably should be looking at the African continent. People always source things from China. There's several people that do drop shipping or FBA, or they source things from China because people have this knowledge about China and the knowledge that you can source almost anything through China. It could be produced there, or the raw materials or whatever, and it's sourced there or produced there and then shipped, let's say, to the States, for example, and sent to a drop shipping center and sold online. You can do the same thing with the African continent. If you're trying to tap into human resources, programmers, developers, or you're talking about raw goods that you can use, or products that can be made, art, different things, electronics. We have those capabilities on the African continent. There is manufacturing. You can source a lot of things. Maybe the mentality should start shifting to looking at the African continent similarly. You can see what trade and exports has done for China in the last 30 years. They've gotten millions of their population out of poverty. It is known now as a powerhouse all across the world. It is a force to be reckoned with. And they've done that through these practical things. And we need to start doing that for our continent, for the African continent. If you make products, look, there's people like Master P. I love what he does. He makes products. He's making shoes. Now he's into foods, cereal, wrap snacks. These are things that I guarantee you can source some of those things you put in your food or your cereal or anything else. The raw materials that you use to make your shoes, you can source those here on the African continent. Take it a step further. You can manufacture some of those things here on the African continent, just like people do the same in China. People don't know that Nigeria has some of the best leather in the world. The leather that most women are wearing, whether it's Louis Vuitton or some other brands, those companies, some of those manufacturers in Italy, a lot of them source it from here. So as you walk around with your Louis Vuitton bag, understand that that leather might have been sourced from the African continent. So why don't we have more people who are already making their own brands or have their own thing, sourcing some of this leather directly from us? We're allowing people to take our leather, take it to Italy, make it into Louis Vuitton or any other brand, make it into a brand and selling it for insane amounts of money. And on the continent, we don't reap those benefits. We used to have some of the best textile industries in the world. When you talk about cotton, African prints, African textiles are a huge thing, but a lot of people are sourcing them from China, from Italy, from other countries. And the African continent is not being looked at as a potential environment for manufacturing, for trade. You only have European and Asian countries, for the most part, who come source these raw goods, take them back to India or to Europe, make them into these products, or just flip them. They might even buy it as a raw good from us, take it to their country, and sell it as a commodity from their country for higher margins. So I hope that as I share this, that it opens up your awareness to understanding that if you have a product, if you are sourcing raw materials, raw goods, you can purchase those directly from us. You can make some of those things here. Now, with that said, I will say that not every country has great business environments for you to easily go about doing some of these things. There are challenges, but that's the reality anywhere you go. And the great opportunity about the African continent, as you can see, is that countries like China, who are seen as world powerhouses, are paying all their attention on the African continent. That in itself should tell you a great deal. And the reality is, it's still so young, just like it was 30 years ago for China. China didn't become this manufacturing powerhouse and world trade leader overnight. But again, remember, this was only 30 years. 30 years from now is 2050. And I truly believe that we can do what China did in 30 years within 10 to 15 for the African continent. Even though the business climate might not be at its greatest point, at its peak, comparable to China or European or other Western environments, that is an opportunity. That is a real opportunity to understand and be a part of stuff from the ground level. The manufacturers that started 20 years ago or 30 years ago in China, where are they now? They're making Apple iPhones. They're making Nike. They're making Adidas. They're making cars. And they're powerhouses. You have to start looking at the African continent as that opportunity. The next 10 years from now, the next 15 years from now, it's not going to be the same continent. And you don't want to be left behind, especially for us, our people in the diaspora on the continent. You can't sit back and watch this happen. And 15 years from now, 20 years from now, we still crying and complaining about the same things. These are our resources. We have access to them. We need to get more organized. We need to give out more information so that everybody can have a fighting chance or an opportunity at least to just hear and then do as you will with the information. Because you can take the horse to the river or to the water, but you can't force it to drink. So all we can do is, hey, I'm giving you the information. At the end of the day, it's left to you to take action. Nobody's going to come take action for you. That is a critical part of this opportunity, is taking action. I encourage you, if you're already doing research on the African continent, not just about moving to the African continent or not just about the history of it, but also about the opportunities. And even as you read about the history, understand and read about the business history. West Africa has always been a powerhouse for trade. Here in Kano has always been a center for trade, along with Timbuktu, Kano. Those were the two main centers of trade in West Africa that then got spread across to Europe and to Asia. And you still have the sub-Saharan trade routes that go through the Sahel and the Sahara Desert, leading into Sudan, Ethiopia, Egypt, crossing the Red Sea into current-day Israel, Syria, Saudi Arabia. I want to share the history. I want to share the opportunities, the resources. And if there's anything that you do or you're interested in to get more information on, if I don't know it, I'll at least try to find out. But I really, really want us to change the trajectory of our continent in the next 10 years. In the time and era we're in, Access to information is much easier than it's ever been before. The ability to just take up a phone or something to just record this and even tell you or give you this information and just put it out and distribute it has become so much easier that there's no excuse for me not to share this information. There's no excuse for a lot of people seeking this information not to find it. And ultimately, it's up to you to take action. That's really where your excuses may lie. And we all have a responsibility. I feel like I'm just doing mine. I'm going to try to show it and hopefully teach a bit about it. If you want to learn about something specific, shoot me a DM. I'll try to be as structured as possible to put together short bits of information, whether through text or through video or through brief master classes or sessions, something to help teach these things. And you can always find them either on the website or here on this channel, on my social media, through Linktree, to see what is it that you want to learn specifically or what information you want to get. And I'll try to provide that to the best of my ability. I truly hope that as I share more of this, I'm opening up my world, my business, information. I don't see any reason to hide any of it. I don't believe that just because I share some information or insight about my business that, somebody's going to steal it from me. There's this whole idea of people stealing ideas from you. And the reality is most people don't even act on their ideas anyway. So at the end of the day, it's about execution. What I do is not rocket science. What I do is available to almost everyone. It's agriculture. I'm doing the same thing that several people can do. Maybe some people don't know about it or don't know the opportunity or don't know how to go about selling it or whatever it is. And now I'm sharing that. Not everybody has to go off and start their own thing and do their business. Look, I need help. I also need help. I have a great team. With the small team of people that I do have that do work with me, they're great. Everybody has a position to play. I love giving illustrations about soccer. Everybody has a position. Everybody plays their position well, and we win as a team. That's the same way I'm seeing this for the African continent. Everybody has resources everywhere on this continent. There's no part of this continent where you can't find natural and human resources that are amazing and some of the best on this planet, in the world. If we can tap into those, then we can help each other grow and we can help each other win because we're on the same team, the Africa team. That's the team we're all on. When one side loses, we all lose. When one country is being exploited, we're all exploited. When we're still facing racism on our own continent, no. That shows there's a lack of respect. There is no industry that you can point out where we don't excel to be the best. I can say this from experience where we often try to dim that light so as not to intimidate other people or other races or other cultures. And the truth is, it's time for that to stop. It's time for us to step into those shoes, shine that light, be that great person or that great player or that great businessman or that great athlete, whatever it is, and live in that confidently. That's where I'm at, and that's why I'm sharing more of this. And hopefully I can both give a lot and hopefully I want to get a lot out of this too. I want to learn. I want to network. I want to build. I want to grow. And like I said, I also need help with what I do and can grow more. I want to grow. I want to do business better. I want to grow in my business. I want to grow in learning how to develop my environment through the things I do better and my communities and my people. And again, everything that happens on the continent affects you in the diaspora. Going back to things like shea butter. Yes, we farm shea nuts and shea trees here. Yes, the nuts are processed into shea butter here. But everywhere on this planet, black people use shea butter. So there's an opportunity for the diaspora as well. As you buy that product, if it is from an African supplier or an African brand, you're also contributing to the local community and the local market. And also with your raw goods here on the continent, with us taking that and selling it in the diaspora, we're also helping the diaspora and our community. We've seen how strong the African community is globally in several instances recently through the protests in Nigeria. And we've seen that not only are we global, we're powerful. And we need to start using that power, not just through voice, but through finance, through economics. That is where a whole lot of change will really happen. Some of the issues and problems that we get into or go through, some of those can be solved through economic plans, through plans of trade. It's just simple, just doing business with each other. There's a whole movement now about supporting black businesses. We should have always done that, and we have done that. I truly hope that this sharing will open up more opportunities for us, will make us more aware, give you the information, and hopefully learn as well from others how we can develop this even more. For me, that's the vision. That is Dreams and Ambition. That was my experience moving to the States from the African continent, seeing the disconnect. This is how I discovered my purpose and discovered the opportunity. So far, it has been the most effective way for me to show how we can get reconnected, both in the diaspora and on the continent, and make things better for our communities, for our people, and for our future. Things cannot continue to go the way they've been going for us for a long time. A small community of people cannot be the only beneficiaries of some of this. It doesn't work that way. If only a few are benefiting, it doesn't help the whole. But we also have to take action. You also have to take action. Take some steps. Nothing comes easy, or at least find your position on the field. Maybe you're a support player. Maybe you know how to make my business function better. Or maybe you know a manufacturer that uses some of the goods or raw materials that can be found here, and finding a way to be that connect. There's different positions available, and there's enough for everyone. So there's no need to be greedy. There's no need for us to hold tight to our ideas and information when we can share it and be much stronger as a group and collectively than just individually. Because going back to the China example, you can say that there's several things they've just been able to do well and do right. And one of those things is their ability to be unified. Wherever you go, there's a Chinatown. They always support each other. They're always in business and sourcing and doing things within their own communities. And we can do the same. We can be just as unified. We can be just and even more powerful. And by the way, we have most of the resources. That's it for me for today. This is Dreams and Ambition. I'm Shalom, and I truly hope that through this, I can also start sharing other people that I know that are doing great things, both on the continent and in the diaspora, and trying to share this information and help the Black community grow. I've seen a lot more of it this year, and even though 2020 has been quite difficult for a lot of people globally, for us, I think it's also been a great opportunity, and great growth has happened through these challenging times. We've seen a lot of potential. I think all across the world, I really believe, despite everything we've gone through, at least I feel that a lot more people can see the light. And so if we can focus at this time on that light and how to collectively get more towards it, then I think we're looking at a very, very bright future for all of us, a much better future than what it's been. I will share more of my experiences, both in the States and here on the African continent. I'll try to be as open as possible. I'll give it to you real, just like I have been. I just show you through the videos, my daily go around. At least so far from the feedback I've received, it's been pretty informational. It's been pretty entertaining, but more than just entertainment, I want us to actually take real steps towards working together. So that's it for today. I'm Shalom. This is my dreams and ambition vision, and I look forward to sharing some more with you guys. Make sure you check out my website. If this is on YouTube, you're watching it, make sure you subscribe. Instagram, whatever it is, follow, subscribe, share. That, I think, is the most important thing. I've started to realize that perhaps just more people just aren't aware. And so it's important that we share some more of this so that we can actually begin the linkage. And maybe that's just your position. It's just, oh, I need to share it with this person or share it with that person. If you're playing ball, you got to share the ball. You got to pass it around. And that's kind of how you strategically win. So make sure you share. Give me some feedback. Send me a message. I'd be happy to hear your feedback on this, what I could share more about. And that'll help me also prepare for the things to keep sharing about. Because as you let me know, then I know what's of more interest or what I can dive deeper into to make sure that it's valuable to you. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this was quite valuable. Till next time, cheers.